Been a while since I had to present to a bunch of blokes. So normally you have to be very politically correct. I still will be, but don't worry about that. I'm here today to talk to you about children, which in first pass mightn't seem like it has a lot to do with surveying. One might say in the same context, my hip replacement, which I had last week, I didn't think had much to do with surveying as well, but I soon found out that I was wrong. You know, waking up with one leg was shorter than the others, really was the first worry I had, but they duly informed me that the surgeon surveyed me on the way in and surveyed me on the way out, and I'm within tolerance. When they do your hip, I'm not sure, probably there's a few of them in the room, they grind all of the nerves out of your hip joint there, and so the recovery process that is based around rebuilding or getting your brain to relearn where your hip is in space, because it's lost itself. And I would have thought also that 3D space and where we are in 3D space is also another surveying problem. So in the last week I've come to understand how surveying pervades my life. So I'm asking you to bear with me when it comes to do with children. Well, motivating children in today's environment, and you probably have all had children or grandchildren, does require some understanding of the competition we're up against. Wii's, iPads, shoot-'em-up computer games. It's all a bit complex and a bit hard to handle, and I have 4 daughters of my own. Children today are fundamentally no different than they were 10 or 20 or 30 or 40 years ago. They just live in a world where there's more interesting stuff around them. So when it comes to motivating children, is there a magic bullet? Is there some one thing that'll make it happen? My goal today is really to give you a set of tools that will help you with the following elements. 1, I want you to help you attract new entrants to the profession. Number 2, I'd like to improve your understanding of how you manage the people in your organisation and also your clients. And thirdly, if we have any luck at all, I may be able to help you get your children to do their homework a bit better. We'll see how we go. So, where did it all start? I want to tell you a bit of a story to get you in the mood, and then we'll move on from there. As I said, I have 4 daughters, and a few years ago I had 3 of them turn up at high school at the one time. And I was running an engineering practice and too busy to spend time up at the school. So when number 3 turned up there, I felt a bit guilty. So I went up and saw the headmaster and said, "Is there something that I can do around the school?" He said to me, "I know you're an engineer. We have this group of kids on Monday night who build mileage marathon cars, and you'd be able to help." And I thought, 15-year-old kids, billy carts, I'll blow these kids out of the water. So I turned up this first Monday night and these kids rolled out a carbon fibre monocoque car. They had the world record at 3,200 miles a gallon. And I fell off my perch. And I turned to one of the kids and said, "How did you get to build such an amazing vehicle?" And he looked at me and said, "No one said we couldn't." And I was floored. My only thought was that if these kids could do this without any technology at all, what could they do if we gave them the best in the world? And in a sense, that's where the journey began. Since that was in 1998, since then we've come a long way. I'd like to show you a short video about a bunch of Australian students that recently took to Abu Dhabi to compete in the Formula 1 in Schools Technology Challenge. And I'll let the video speak for itself.
was when I ruled the world. It was the wicked and wild wind blew down the doors to let me in, shattered windows and the sound of drums. People couldn't believe what I'd become. Revolutionaries wait for my head on a silver blade, just a puppet on a lonely string. Oh, who would ever want to be king? I hear Jerusalem bells ringing, Roman cavalry choirs are singing. Mirror, mirror, my soul, seal of missionaries in a foreign field. For some reason I can't explain, I know St. Peter won't call my name. Never alone this word, but that was when I ruled the world.
F1 in Schools World Champions for 2012 from Brighton Secondary School. That was when I ruled the world. My soul, seal of missionaries in a foreign field. For some reason I can't explain, I know St. Peter will call my name. Never alone this word, but that was when I ruled the world.
It's pretty cool. Given that Australian kids came first, fourth and fifth outright in a competition that has 9 million students around the world, I think it's a remarkable experience. And the students did it all. And I have to tell you that when it comes to technology, which I originally spoke about earlier, we're giving computational fluid dynamics and finite element analysis kind of software tools now to kids that are 10 years old. And no one said they couldn't. So there's no problem about giving kids technology. There's certainly it's very easy to motivate them. But to do that, we need to develop their own level of relevance of whatever we're trying to do. So when we're selling surveying or engineering to kids, we don't sell it to them in our terms, we sell it to them in their terms in that sense. And sure, F1's cool, and we use the mojo of F1 to at least touch base with the students, but really the success that we have comes from the kids being able to feel some kind of level of relativity to what we do. I'm not sure if you realise how much surveying is. I'm not going to go into today, but the level of surveying that's involved in the Formula One teams is quite staggering. They're surveying the tracks, they're integrating all of the surveying of the cars and doing dynamic analysis models, all of the driver simulation things. They're actually physically surveying every single bump on every single track all of the time. So there's a lot of linkage to Formula One, and that's why I don't think there's any reason why surveying can't be as cool as F1 is. I will explain what I mean by cool in a second because I think it's important. So as we said earlier, since 1998 we've had about 500,000 kids plus involved in the program, and we've been able to convert at least 64% of those to careers in STEM. We don't tell them exactly what to do. And that's of the kids who weren't going to be engineers or scientists or whatever beforehand. Also, over the past 7 years, we've carried out a whole lot of research at the University of South Australia into the motivational drivers of children's career decision choices. And along the way, we found a few secrets, and this is where we're starting to step into the things that you may be able to use. Not big on pictures. One of the most important things we came across from the research is the concept of giving boys the Lego and leaving them alone in the corner and giving girls the dolls is completely back to front. And we need to change the way that we're communicating with boys and girls. I'm going to spend a little bit of time on the boy, girl, male, female thing a little bit further. But first, I want to talk about how we think of motivation at the moment. And there's many books been written about the complexity of human motivation and the decision process. The foundations of philosophy and psychology and Zen are all based in having to deal with the symptoms that we display as human beings. And suggestions for rectification of our human soul are thus usually based in dealing with symptoms of humans' actions rather than thinking about why people do it in the first place. As an engineer, I was always taught to go back to first principles in solving any problem. And when I started this, what became a journey of enlightenment, I went looking for the root cause analysis of motivation. How to motivate people and how to do it as simply as possible. And after much research and much surveying myself up and down dry gullies of knowledge, I kept coming back to a thing called a neo-Darwinian rational choice as it's applied to academic engagement norms. Don't worry about the name. They give you a doctorate if you can think of a big name, I think. It's not true. It's not true. It's a long title, but in simple terms, we've been humans for 2 million plus years. We've had Facebook and iPhones for 4 or 5. Sorry, I think I missed a slide there. Go to the next one. We've had iPhones and Facebook for 4 or 5 years. We've lived in civilizations for maybe 1,000 or 2,000 years. And none of this has been long enough to change the genetic material that drives us as human beings. And judging by what's going on in Canberra, there's not much evidence that we've made any changes at all. Today's environment's really only a millimetres in the scale of life. Yet modern perception has us believe that we can take control over our animal instincts, and that we can have the ability to turn instincts on and off when we like and when it suits us. Hate to disappoint you. What was confirmed in the research was that the reason behind why we do most things is buried in our genes. Our genes control much of what we do for every hour of every day of our lives, and we can't turn them